beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Welcome to this episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. I am so excited about today's episode. I have the most amazing human that I am interviewing. Her name is Louise Jones. She is a psychic channel and energy healer who helps successful men and women overcome limitations for greater success and impact in their businesses. She helps in moving past repeating patterns, money blocks, income plateaus, or resistance so you can be in your most fullest and visible expression of your soul's work. She has helped clients who include 8-figure earners, celebrities, and entrepreneurs. Be prepared to be so inspired and enlightened by Louise's wisdom. She is unbelievable. So without further ado, please welcome Louise to this week's episode. Louise, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to interview you on this podcast. I had to do it after you came and chatted to the Business Academy because their minds were absolutely blown by everything that you spoke about. And for those of you who don't know Louise, you definitely need to check her out. You have a really potent ability to be able to tune into people and help successful men and women to get to that next layer of success through uncovering what's happening, would you say, kind of behind the scenes or subconsciously? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, so it feels more like the unconscious energy that they're not aware of. So really it's looking at what they're calling in, manifesting, and literally energetically clearing the pathway to receive it.
Amazing. And can you talk about your backstory and your journey? Because I found it really quite fascinating that all of this kind of came on and was like brought on. And was it like a light switch like flicked on in you and all of a sudden this path kind of opened itself?
That's probably the way it was about a third of the way into the journey. It started with being in corporate and working 14-hour days. I had a 5-hour commute. And at that stage, I was into self-development, following divorce. And I was, I had just hired a Tony Robbins coach. So I was on the path, but I wasn't quite spiritual. And I had a huge desire to connect to that spiritual connection, to be able to receive the guidance, because I thought if I could receive the guidance, I would just be on the path to more money, more success, and have an amazing life. And I could really see people online like Amanda Francis and Katrina Ruth who were doing amazing things, and I just resonated with it so much. And I thought, I want that to be my life. I love travel. And so I'd stepped into that kind of self-development path, not knowing, probably like a lot of people, Sarah, not knowing what it was I was supposed to do. I was really good at manifesting. I could talk about that all day long, but I didn't feel that was my only purpose. And so I took a course with a medium. I took a course to activate my psychic gifts, and that opened my channel within 1 or 2 calls. So I was really ready for it.
Isn't that crazy? I love that so much. I think there's kind of an important message in that it's like, and our coach, Nick, so that's how I met Louise, is we both work with Nick, and she was speaking lately about like, things are not linear. Like it didn't take you years of sitting in meditation to activate all your gifts. Like it happened fairly quickly for you. Wouldn't you say that was the case?
Yeah. And I think before that, there was a lot of meditation thinking, reading Gabby Bernstein and listening to different spiritual gurus online. It's like, yeah, you've just got to sit in meditation until you get to that fluffy state and then you connect. But actually, I needed to pay for a bit of support that said, I trust myself. And I suppose the thing was, this was the manifestation of, like, this was the vehicle being shown to me for the lifestyle that I wanted.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. So when we talk about manifestation, because it's one of my favorite topics, so there's kind of, this is kind of like a two-pronged question. What do you feel, because you work with a lot of people who strive to get to that new layer of success, do you feel like there's a commonality between the things that are blocking them and holding them back?
So in my experience, it's one of two things. It's either deep emotional wounds that have happened in this lifetime that they have an awareness of, but they'll always think they've healed them. That's what I always hear. I thought I dealt with that. I thought I'd moved through that. And on another layer, it's what their parents and their generations before them, either on the male side or the female side, or a combination of both, have been carrying. So for example, people have come to me, Sarah, and actually don't have any awareness that the reason they keep attracting lawsuits, or the reason that things are feeling stagnant or blocked, is because of something that happened to a great grandfather. And when we clear that, we're actually opening up the path to receiving, because what they want is already there. It's already done.
Yeah.
The disconnect is between it actually dropping into the reality. So that's what we clear, and we never know what it's going to be.
Amazing. And what are some of the things that you've seen happen, like out of your clearings with the clients? Tell us some stories. If you guys could see your face right now, it's just lit up like, oh, if I only.
I'm rolling my eyes. There's been some massive success stories, most around money. So we'll share the money ones because that's what people always want instantly. So there was a guy that I'd actually hired to do digital strategy for me, and we were on this long journey of, painting out the picture for the global visibility and reach. And he rang me one day in a bit of a crisis, and he said, I have a cash flow problem. I need to hire you. I need to employ you, but I can't pay you. So me and my naivety entered into a WhatsApp conversation with this guy. I just said, I'll hang up, I'll do it. And I was able to show him exactly where the money was that he needed. And within an hour, he messaged me on WhatsApp and he says, Louise, you're not going to believe this. I've just struck a $64,000 deal. I was like, so that was able to show me the power of what's actually here now for us to receive. Other clients, just their whole world has exploded after a few sessions together. And it's usually been something they've been manifesting for a long time, like a lot of money. One client went from 6 figures in debt to manifesting millions and millions and millions of pounds. A really beautiful story. Other clients have left what they were settling for and really stepped into, particularly in the acting scene, biggest ever Netflix role, biggest ever TV presenting role. And then we've got other clients that I work with that are just on their journey, that are smashing through like a monthly income plateau. So everyone's journey opens at a different speed depending on where they're at and how ready they are for it. I find when people come into my world, there's been a soul connection for a long time. The energy drops in, we feel it. Like we feel it instantly. They feel it on the call. There's lots of physical releases and it's just a powerful conversation. So I'm going to say it's magical, but they've manifested me into their life to help them with that result.
I honestly feel the magic when I connect with you, Louise, like seriously. And definitely, I agree with you when you talk about soul connection. It's like we've kind of all been contracted to support each other in one way or another. And it's our free will to come forth to say, yes, let's do this now. Or, some people also choose to continue their patterns of being stuck and, not being able to crack through that glass ceiling, etc. What do you notice in terms of that? Like in terms of people, so that was the other side of the question. The people that have been able to manifest and really call things through powerfully, would you say are the ones that are just able to face whatever's there? And it could be different things depending on what's happened to them generationally or what's happening to them currently in their physical reality. It's a lot of different variables, but the main thing would be that they're willing to look at it and to transcend it.
Yeah, and the big thing is they're willing to decide out of it, and that is so key, because you can stay on a very long healing journey, or you can just like literally decide to drop it, and it drops in, and you're backed by belief.
I freaking love that. Decide out of it. They chose to decide out of it. Oh my gosh, I resonate with that so much. And I say this all the time, where I feel like sometimes people can get stuck in this healing spiral where they continuously think, oh, something's wrong with me. And really, no, it's just deciding. You can see it, witness it, clear it, and then decide.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And, I had this conversation yesterday with my twin sister because we're both in this kind of energy realm. And we spoke about, we get to decide to come off the healing. And obviously, I sell lots of, healing programs for people, but equally, it's almost like I'm activating them into action because that's what gets the results. I don't want them to stay there. I want them to keep investing, keep moving, keep growing. And then that's when the reality changes because that's been my experience. And that is the difference between that high performer and the person who wants to stay stuck in the struggle because it feels safe and comfortable.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And but it's also the difference between somebody like yourself, who's a really powerful facilitator that wants to help people decide their way out of things. And that's the path. Like that is the path. So that's amazing. Okay. So we have that. And then on the other side of it, so the other side of the coin, you would say it's the people that they're just wanting they choose their comfort rather than being able to go out like and push through their edges, etc. Is that the difference between the people who are doing the thing, showing up, getting the lead roles, or what is it that you see?
I see people stuck in their current reality. So for example, they may desire to make an investment, but they just can't see where the money's coming from. So therefore they decide not to play into it. The biggest thing that moved my reality was actually deciding out of struggle and deciding that without the 5-figure investment, I needed to work with somebody that it was already done. It was already there. And everything that for me, that was about a year ago. That was just a complete portal opened up. That was a quantum leap in my reality. So when I think back to who I was and I can see myself in those people, and I always say to them, you've got to let that struggle go. In my case, it was a very old family struggle on the female side. So, and I didn't see people around me experiencing like other family members. So it was, how can I just drop it and move forward and saying to them, look, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. And how did you just drop it? Because so many people get so attached to their struggle. It's interwoven like into their identity. And so when people hear, and I get it, like I find myself saying that as well. It's like, okay, we just got to unplug from the meaning and just move on. But it's like people who are so in their struggle and they hear that, it could feel really triggering for them. Like what advice would you give to help them move through that and to then be able to be in a place to decide?
Okay, so what I did literally was I sat and went into meditation and I was communicating with my body, what am I feeling? What is keeping me stuck? Is this mine? Why do I carry this? Where did it start? So I can go right back to the root cause of where it came from. And we all have this ability, by the way. And as soon as I was shown where it was, that's healing because we've already brought it into the light. That's the awareness piece. And then it's saying, okay, well, if I don't have to play into this reality, what I then do is I look at the future version of me who's making, whatever per month. And I'm like, what would she decide? And then I'm showing my next step.
Wow. And then you take it. And then it's up to you to follow that next step.
Yeah, 100%. And this is where most people won't take the next step because they don't trust their own inner guidance, their intuition. They don't trust the voice that actually sounds like a thought, but it's guidance dropping in.
Okay. And how would you tell people, is there a way you differentiate that or is it all the same? Thoughts versus inner guidance?
I feel like if you're super connected, if you're meditating every day, if you've got a spiritual ritual, whatever that looks like for you, and you're tending to ignore your reality, because that's, this is a big part of it.
Yeah.
I act on everything. So I don't wait for it to be, is it right or is it wrong? When I receive the guidance, and this is how I've made massive investments, it drops in and I reach out to the person and I take the action and then the money shows up. And I've done this on repeat, which has allowed me to grow as a person. Now, everyone's process is different. But when I go into that future version of myself at that income level, what would she do? Time collapses really fast.
Hell yes. Oh my God. I freaking love that. So you make decisions as if, even though the evidence in your physical reality has not presented itself. I think this is where people get caught up. They're too attached to the physical evidence and it not being there. So then they don't move, but you do the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do the opposite. So let's say I know the price tag of something and this is how I manifested a car, a house, everything. I know the price tag of it. I build the desire. I know it's a really strong desire. And therefore, if it's a desire, I don't question, is it the right move or the wrong move? It's like for some reason it's a desire. I don't know why. I don't need to know why. I just need to know that the money is there for it. And the money always shows up. It shows up as long as you can I almost paint a little cloud in the sky and that's my surrender, my detachment. I push it out to the universe and then it it shows up. And then of course I take action in my business with my offers and all of that stuff. But I know that in my heart of hearts, when I've been shown it, it's not like I sit and analyze it. Is it right? Is it wrong? It's like I'm shown it. So therefore it's correct for me at this moment.
Yes, 100%. I always say that your desires are like breadcrumbs. It's like how your soul, it gives you the like next little piece. And that's how you, if you use it as a compass, that's how you can navigate your reality in your next timeline. But I think so many people question their desires, or they don't feel worthy of their desires. And so they actually don't fully choose their desires. They choose things that are subpar rather than what it actually is that they want. Do you find that a lot as well?
Yeah, so I actually put a couple of stories up on this. It's really interesting you bring it up. A couple of days ago, and what I said was, because a client came into my inbox and she said, Louise, am I an energetic match for this container at $300? She said, I don't want to lower my vibration and all of this wonderful stuff. And I went back to her and I said, actually, you're a match to be a private client with me because that's the level that you generally invest at. So I don't want you to go backwards. I only need you to grow. I want you to grow. So when I spoke about this in the stories, what I said was, the more expensive something is, the more I want it.
We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
Wow. Where do I even begin with QBA and serotonin and my time in the container? Let's start with knowing that I have the permission to create my wildest, deepest, biggest vision. I had my highest cash day. I completely changed the direction of my business. I landed in my purpose and my passion. I felt like being a part of it all has given me the permission to truly be me and make the deepest impact possible. Yeah, wow. Serotonin and QBA changed my life. It was so deeply healing to be in a space with like-minded people who are service-based, here to literally serve other souls, and to be held in such a space where you can come as you are and you are seen in your unique gifts, your talents, your desires, and to have your vision come to life around other beautiful people is something that I will be forever grateful for. And being led by Sarah in all of her vulnerability, her humor, her loving, unconditional, nurturing ways. Wow. Honestly, wow. If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. Yes.
Now my soul is all about luxury and nice things, and I invest in the same way. Do I want the highest level of support, or do I want the little small thing? And sometimes I've done a little small thing that's then led into, a 15K investment, whatever that looks like. But most people will, and I see this with my own clients, they want all of my lower cost stuff, but they're not prepared to leap into the big packages. Well, guess what happens? Nothing in the reality can change until they take the leap.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. And I always say, like, for me, my testament is that my reality expands with my choices. And if you're not making big expanded choices, well, your reality only can expand that much. So it's like, you're going to expand your reality $300 worth. But if it's like $15,000 worth, that's, or whatever amount, it's like, that is a testament to the universe that this is done. Like, this is happening. When you back yourself with a financial investment in a really powerful one. And I talk about this all the time. And I know it can be triggering for people like us as coaches, and we invite people to invest. It's actually a gift for them as well. And this is why I talk about scholarships being quite dangerous, because you can take that gift away from people. And so you see that happening. You see that happening as well when people like really say, yes, I'm going to do this for myself, or choose the easier route with the smaller investment.
Yeah, it doesn't shift anything. And, a really cool example outside of the coaching world was whenever I bought this house. I remember going through that whole thing where you're applying to buy, and it was a total stretch for me. I was moving from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 4-bedroom detached house, and it was a show home. So it had everything came with it. And I'll never forget feeling the stretch and going through this period of waiting for my other property to sell. And the moment something happened, I can't remember what it was, something happened and I decided, okay, I'm going to lean into this further. I went home, I packed up my entire apartment, I put everything into boxes. I remembered that I was buying a show home, so I couldn't take the furniture. So I started taking photos of the furniture and putting it all onto Marketplace and selling it. I had a cash buyer within 3 days.
Oh my
And
gosh.
also what happened between then, that was January, and moving in March, was my employer gave me 3 unexpected pay rises.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember thinking, what just,
3.
3, it was like, da, da, da. And I remember thinking, what just happened? But I now know in hindsight, the desire was there. The house was always mine. The
Yeah.
universe was literally saying, okay, now she backs herself. She's using the law of assumption. She's sold up her apartment. She's packed her boxes. That house has got her name on it. And I was in that determined energy. And of course, then all of this magic came in and happened. And that's how my investments have been. But clients don't really believe that because they're not trusting themselves. They don't believe it's possible for them. There's no difference
Yeah.
between them and me and you and all of us. You know, we're all connected. So I believe if you're not putting the pressure on the mentor and you're not hiring to get a result, that you're actually following your inner guidance and your intuition, and you put your money into the right place, it will exponentially expand you.
I 100% agree. And that's just been my experience as well. Like 100%. I've always, and I love that. I always say like my superpower is that I can do that. Like make those scary as shit decisions that we say, or make the decisions when there is no evidence, but there is the desire that drives it. And I think if everyone could do that, make a decision when there's no evidence, but it's being driven by a desire, this is how they transcend themselves. But I feel like I totally agree that most people don't. It's just the security and the safety, which is also an illusion anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I
So
do.
I love all of this so much. I'm totally aligned with everything you talk about when it comes to money. And I've made, risky decisions in, times that weren't ideal in terms of what people are talking about with regards to inflation and this and that. And none of that matters. It doesn't have to be a variable in your success if you don't choose for it to be. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's really important. You know, I totally agree with you because I don't listen to the news. I started my business during lockdown. I was on furlough, which was like 4 weeks paid leave, which I'd asked for because I wanted that gap in my day-to-day life so that I could start to move towards this online business. It was just a thought, and that could have been the worst time to start a business. And in hindsight, I don't pay attention to it. I don't listen to what anyone says. You know, I traveled during lockdown. I did different things that were, very restricted and very advised against. And I don't say that, we need to be rebels to be successful. We don't. I don't believe that. But what I do believe is that when the nudge comes in, the pathway opens and the desire is always there. But what came through as you were speaking was there's always this lag time between the desire being asked for and being ordered from the universe and then actually dropping in. And that's where most people lose faith. Because then they're in the waiting game. They're like, it's not here yet. Okay. It mustn't be happening. Then they go into the story of it mustn't be right for me. Should I do it? Should I not? And they start to question everything. So the lag period is so important because if you can just anchor into deeper faith, I choose to trust, it's done. It comes in so much faster.
I love that so much, Louise. This is such a powerful conversation. It's getting me so excited. So what do you say about people that have been inundated in fear, talking about inflation and this and market constriction and saturation, all of those things that keep people from really powerfully choosing the things they want to do? What do you say to that? How do you speak to that?
I just don't give it any attention. I think where your energy flows and your focus goes to is going to expand far too much. So it's like people who, this is a really good example, people come into my world and they want to, move out of debt. So they start to journal about their debt every day. It's like, we don't want to reactivate that. We want to get you into overflow and affluence and opulence and all of these beautiful words. And so that can only happen when they keep moving towards their goals. And it's like we completely shift the focus. So if people are to shift away from the downturn, the negativity, all of that, quickly they've got more equity in their property. Quickly they see more opportunity. Quickly more opportunities come to them. It's a complete game changer.
I 100% agree. I've for those of you listening, that people who follow me and are interested in hearing from people like you do that because they believe they're deliberate creators, they're manifestors. Otherwise, our content would be of no interest to them. So you have to think about, like, if you truly embody the truth that we create our reality, then that is what we do. And I feel like when we slip outside of that, it's because we buy in, we plug into the inflation, we plug into the saturation, and that infiltrates our world and creates a lot of toxic beliefs around limitation. And then I think people succumb to it. And then that becomes a reality when really it has nothing to do with what the chit chat is externally. If we can bat that away and stay in our own internal vortex, our own internal world, then I feel like you can literally create and transcend anything, no matter kind of what's going on externally. That's been my experience as well. But would you agree with that?
100%. You know, I often go into this space of not speaking to people and not being connected to the outside world. And sometimes that's just a couple of days, like over a weekend, if my little boy's with his dad, it's just to reset. But I think you've got to consciously choose your friendships. You've got to consciously choose where you hang out, the environments that you're in, the spaces that you're in, you know, right down to what hotels I stay in. It's conscious choices, because it's either going to support my vibration or it's going to lower it. And I don't want it lowered.
100%. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, there was something I was going to say. It came straight in and came out. Yeah. There's somebody I follow, I would say they would refer to themselves as the consciousness of Bashar. Do you follow Bashar? No. It's kind of a version of Esther and Abraham, etc. And he was doing this trance channeling session, and it was like humans are going through like different timelines 1 billion times per second. And then it was just so insane. So like depending on our focus is the timelines like we cross over into. And so if people are focusing on all of the worry, all of the war, all of the inflation, all of the saturation, all of the whatever, those are the timelines they're in. And we can be coexisting with people, but be experiencing two completely different realities based on where our energetic intentions are. I just found that like so mind blowing. I feel like if people truly could understand and embody those concepts, that is what like free will is. And that is what like truly being unstoppable is. And so it's really good to have you kind of reaffirm that, you know, if you stay in your bubble, and you stay in your own energy, your own embodied intentions, that nothing external could impact your ability to create.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people will, and I've caught myself doing this in the past, where you open up Instagram, you read somebody's post, they seem like way more powerful, and you can slip into comparison. But by not going in and like consciously choosing not to give attention to that, you're actually looking at, okay, well, what can I affect in this moment? Because we can only affect it from today.
Yeah.
So when people talk about jumping timelines, it's knowing that possibility and that potential is available today.
Yes.
And then not analyzing, well, it's not here yet. You know, we've all done it. We've all like looked and said, well, where is it? Where is it? What's happening? And if we can really put ourselves into that future state fast, and this is why you'll see people online have really massive results really quickly. And it's why when people come to me, sometimes they're just ready for that thing to be unlocked, for the manifestation to drop in, but they've done 95% of the work already, and they just need help with the final part. Otherwise it couldn't come in that fast.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You light me up, Louise. I love this conversation. It's so, so, so powerful. So just to kind of round this off, what would you say, like people, like if there's something that you wanted people to hear right now in terms of their ability to create a powerful reality, coaching practice, business, whatever it may be, like what would be like your piece of advice to them?
I would say if you're able to just choose out of where you're at now and be so focused on where you want to be and really start to think and feel as that version of yourself, that is your most powerful tool. And 100%. Really working, like getting in the space of somebody who's collapsing time really quickly with powerful, powerful results. Yeah. You know, don't settle.
Yeah, don't settle. My gosh, yes. Get in this space. Don't settle. I find like I realize how sensitive I am when it comes to being in proximity of people, like, you know, being around you and people like Nick and just like expanders that like open up my heart portal and make me so excited. Like I can feel the shift in my energy, but it's funny. I also hang out with different friends where it's like they go through different things and they're beautiful people, but they're in a bit of scarcity, and I'll find myself being like why am I feeling anxiety right now? Like, what is this? Like, this isn't me. And it's just like so important, isn't it? Like be the people you choose to be around.
100%. You know, it's interesting you mentioned the heart, because just coming back from Sardinia, and Sardinia was a place that I was shown, you know, when I went into meditation, I was shown it with the little heart emoji coming out of the country, and it was massive heart activation for me and for other people who were there. And that expansion is, you know, we're not going to go backwards just by spending 5 or 10 minutes with people, but when you're empathic and you're picking up their energy, it's really important that you have that awareness and you consciously choose when to interact on messages, voice notes, all of that, because we're all picking up each other's energy all of the time. Now, if we're co-creators and we fully believe that our manifestations, like the wheels are already turning on that, those interactions won't necessarily take us backwards. The problem is if we buy into their reality, that becomes a problem. So we can quickly shift out of it, clear the energy, move past it.
Wow. I'm so glad you brought that into the light, because I almost feel subconsciously I do that with people, like just buy into that, like, oh shit, you know, like, oh yeah, look at all these people. And then you do. And it's not even like you consciously choose it. Well, at least for me, but it's interesting. But when you bring that to the light, then you can consciously choose it. Wow. That is so powerful.
100%. And you've got to pay attention to how you feel in that moment. If you're feeling that anxiety, if you're feeling that, it's like, okay, well, that's what's going on for them right now. I'm aware that I'm picking up that energy. And then we move through it. And, you know, you have to remember, I've done hundreds of sessions with clients, and, you know, people sometimes feel things from other people, whereas I feel very protected from it. I can channel for 30 people. I can clear their energy. I can come off ground and move back into my life and it doesn't affect me. But then I also wonder, well, what would happen if I didn't do that? Where would my frequency soar to?
Oh,
if I just stayed, so this came through this weekend, so it's really interesting. We're talking about if I just stayed at this frequency and these price points, how much better would it be for my clients?
Wow.
How much better would it be for me?
Oh my gosh. Oh, we'll have to talk about Sardinia offline. That's a whole other topic, but it looked absolutely magical.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, amazing. So, oh my gosh, Louise, you are a gem. So how can people work with you? How can people find you? What are you doing at the moment? You mentioned one-on-one sessions. You mentioned masterminds. Like, tell me how people can find you.
So I have a free Facebook community. We can share the link for that. It's called All Fired Up. And then at the moment, I'm running a 30-day healing journey, which is a low-cost container for people who want to move through a lot towards clarity, certainty, and cash. So it's very much aimed at entrepreneurs. And then private work for me is less about single sessions. I built my business to 6 figures in that, and it's more about coming in for 12 weeks. 12 weeks, we can literally change people's lives. Literally.
Wow.
People have left corporate jobs. They've set up businesses. They've just created such magic in 12 weeks together. So there's that. I don't have a mastermind at the minute. I'm just feeling really drawn to working with really potent leaders in the world. And it's just that the business is in such a good place right now. And I'm off to Marbella next week on another business retreat. So I'm just like floating through this high frequency for the month of new beginnings in September.
Oh, Louise, you're absolutely divine. So I will make sure I post all of the links below, and you have an Instagram account so they can follow you on Instagram as well, and then reach out to you personally if they want to work with you one-on-one or in your containers, etc. But you are such a gift to this world, Louise. Thank you so much for being here. I just adore you, and I'm just so grateful for the work that you do for people. It's so important. So important.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's been a beautiful conversation. It just lights me up, all the manifestation talk and law of attraction.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have an amazing rest of your day, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, bye. No worries. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.